Yo, put the bottle down. Put it up there. Move up some. On the other.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا اللهم زدنا علما إنك أنت عليم الحكيم اللهم اجعل هذه المحاضرة حجة لنا لا حجة علينا يا رب العالمين أما بعد. This is our third class and dealing with the important lessons that every Muslim should know. A book that has been authored by a sheikh, the great scholar Abdulaziz bin Baz rahimahullah ta'ala. And we're using an explanation from a sheikh Abdul Razzaq al-Badr, may Allah preserve him. Last week, we went over Surah Al-Fatiha with the explanation of the surah. So this week is a quick review, inshallah, before we get into Surah Al-Zalzala, which we're going to cover today, inshallah ta'ala. طيب. Before we move on, who can recite Al-Fatiha جيدا? Anyone? تفضل.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم ملك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير مغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Listen, we mentioned last week, Sheikh Habibullah Ta'ala mentioned 4 things with regards to memorizing the Quran. Does anyone remember? Did anyone take notes? Did you write them down? Huh? Wait, you have it up here?
Some of it.
Some of it? What do you have? Yellow.
You said that you should recite each verse 20 times for better memory.
You could do that, yeah, but there was 4 things that the Sheikh mentioned. Does anyone remember? I'm not going to tell you, so I hope you wrote it down.
I got Talqeen.
Talqeen. Tayyib, mumtaz. What does that mean?
Talqeen, a way of teaching by having the student.
Yulaqqin. The word yulaqqin. What does it mean? Huh? We went over it. We talked about it. When you have a teacher and the teacher recites and you recite after the teacher. Right, so that's the first way. So once you get past that stage, just to show that you can actually read it, then what's the next stage? Tasheeh. Ahsant. Tasheeh. It means when the teacher now is correcting your recitation. He's hard at this point. He's hard. He should be. The problem a lot of times when, as Americans, generally speaking, not being of the Arabic language or not speaking it, when we memorize Quran, either if we're memorizing with another person that also is not strong in the Arabic language, he's going to let you pass on a lot of things that you have incorrect in terms of your pronunciation. He's going, oh, this is good. Yeah, mashallah. They're just happy that you're reciting, but they're not giving you or treating you the way that you should be treated with regards to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As this was something that we were made aware of when we went to study, you thought that you had all this Quran memorized. So you thought you had all this Quran memorized, and then when you sit in front of Quran teachers, you can't even get past A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. You're sitting on that for days. And you're like, man, this guy's playing with it. He can't be serious. I thought I had all this down. Then you get to the Basmala. And you're sitting on Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim for 3 days, 2 days, 3 days. And then Al-Fatiha, Allah Musta'an. They beat you up. And it's not because they're trying to belittle you, make you feel bad, but it's because the book of Allah is serious. It's a serious thing. And this is why the Sheikh, Hafidullah Ta'ala, and Rahimahullah Ta'ala, Sheikh bin Baz, Rahimahullah, he mentioned this. This is very important that we recite Al-Fatiha correctly. And it's also important that the brothers who know that are able, that they take the time and correct the brothers in their recitation. Many of us have it memorized. We can say, yeah, I have it memorized. Many people may not recite it correctly. Many people may not recite it correctly. And the only way you'll know is if the person you recite it upon recites it correctly. Otherwise, someone's going to be teaching a mistake. So imagine you memorize a juz of the Quran, the whole last book of the Quran, you memorize it incorrectly. That's hard to fix. It's a hard thing to fix. You memorize 3, 4, 5 juz, ashra ajza of the Quran, and you memorize it all incorrectly. Then you have to go back and memorize it again from jadid, from the beginning. Like, anyone else who wants to recite, jazakallah khairak. Anyone else? Tafadhal.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. My recommendation for the brothers here, and for the one that teaches the Quran here, and if not, Akhuna al-Fadil, inshallah ta'ala, we should be doing some Al-Fatiha classes here. Huh? Ya Sheikh, anta ma'i wala eh? It's important because, wallahi, if your recitation of Al-Fatiha is incorrect, what about your salat, all of it? Huh? لم يقبل الله صلاة أحدكم إذا لا يقبل الله الصلاة إذا لم يقرأ بفاتحة الكتاب أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, he said that the salah is not accepted unless you recite with al-Fatiha al-Kitab, yani the opening book of the Quran. If we don't have that, at least, this is why the Shaykh, Rahimahullah, he focused on these small surahs in the Quran. The most important one from them is Al-Fatiha. If we don't take the time out, some of us, I've been Muslim 20, 30 years, I already know the Al-Fatiha. So sometimes we have with us kibr. Sometimes we have with us pride. Who's this guy going to tell me I can't recite? I've been Muslim 30 years. So sometimes we're not trying to hear it. Come on, man. You might say, well, brother, that's not true. I'm telling you that's how we felt when we went to go study. Somebody gonna say you can't recite Al-Fatiha. Now you're embarrassed. All right, imagine sitting with a bunch of kids. As an adult, you sitting with a bunch of kids going over Al-Fatiha. You coming from America, like, yeah, you know, I at least know a couple of Jews. All right, you can't even recite Al-Fatiha right. All right, so what I'm saying is it's something that's very important that we shouldn't feel like, you know, we're too good to review. Just like some of the companions, they mentioned the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He would teach them the tashahhud and the salat. They said that he would teach them the tashahhud and the salat, and this is something that's considered small, but he would teach sighar al-ilm qabla kibar. He would teach the small issues of knowledge before the major ones. And this is the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He would teach the companions the tashahhud and the salat. At any event, we're going to get started with our surah for today. Does anyone want to recite Surah Al-Zalzala? And does anyone have any information about it? Huh? طيب. My fish? طيب. طيب. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the surah, إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ أَوْحَى لَهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ يَصْدُرُ النَّاسُ أَشْتَاتًا لِيُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُمْ فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. This surah is a surah generally that speaks about Yawm al-Qiyamah and what will happen during that time. As the Shaykh Abdul Razak Hafidahullah, he says, هذه surah عظيمة. This is a great surah in the Quran. Many of the Salaf, or the scholars in the past, they differ with regards to when this surah of the Quran was revealed. Some of them say that it's a surah Madaniyya. Some of them say that it is a surah Makkiyya. Some of them say that it's a surah Madaniyya, yani that the surah, this verse or this chapter in the Quran, was revealed in Medina. And some of them say no, rather it was revealed in Mecca. The scholars of Islam differ as to when this surah was actually revealed, whether it was in Mecca or Medina, but that's not where we're going to focus on tonight. Surah Al-Zalzala فيها ذكر رب جل وعلا للأهوال العظيمة التي تكون بين يدي قيام الساعة. The Shaykh Habibullah, he mentions that this surah in the Quran, it talks about the fear, the turmoil, the drama or trauma that may occur on this day when people stand on Yawm al-Qiyamah. They stand on the day of judgment. فإن مما يكون بين يدي قيام الساعة تزلزل الأرض وهو ارتجاجها واهتزازها. And on this day, when people stand, the earth is going to shake and tremble. It's going to be a severe shaking, like an earthquake. The grounds will tremble and it will shake. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا ارتجت واهتزت وتحركت. As the earth, during this particular time, it will begin to shake. A tremendous type of shaking. A shaking that will cause people to fear. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. And at that time, when it starts to tremble, those things within the earth will come out. So the scholars of Islam, they say, well, what are these things that's going to come out? What's coming out of the earth? What's going to be coming out? Allah says, وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. That the earth will spit out that which is in the earth. Spit out what? What is it talking about here? So he mentions, أَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ مَا فِي بَطْنِهَا. That the earth will spit out that which is inside of the stomach of the earth, or the belly of the earth. So what does that consist of? It says, مَا فِي بَطْنِهَا, that which is in the stomach, مِنَ الْأَمْوَاتِ الَّذِينَ دُفِنُوا فِيهَا. And so the first thing that it's going to spit out is the dead that died in the past. So imagine how many people is going to be coming out. The dead, the people that passed away, the earth is going to spit them out. وَأَلْقَتْ مَا فِيهَا مِنَ الْكُنُوزِ. And likewise, it's going to spit out things that were treasured, that people may have buried hundreds and thousands and how many umpteen years ago. So imagine the dead, the treasures, anything. وَهَذَا إِخْرَاجُ لِهَؤُلَاءِ النَّاسِ مِنَ الْأَرْضِ هُوَ إِذَانٌ بِقِيَامِ السَّاعَةِ وَالْوُقُوفِ بَيْنِ يَدَيِ اللَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He rids the earth from the dead. He brings the dead out. When the earth begins to spit the dead out, spit everything out that was inside of it. They say that this is إِذَانٌ بِقِيَامِ السَّاعَةِ. This is the introduction or the beginning of the day when people will be judged. وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا. When the people are brought forth from the ground, يَقُومُ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ قَبْرِهِ. When a person will be brought forth from his grave. A person will be brought out of their graves. Ila hashrihi. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to combine everyone together. Wa waqufihi bayna yaday rabbihi madhulan. And everyone's going to come together. And they're going to be amazed. Min hadha al-amr al-ajib. They're going to be amazed that they're able to be all put together after they were all in the ground. Wal mandharul mahulan. And they're going to be afraid. This is it. Qa'ilan. And they're going to say, Malaha. What happened? What happened to the earth? What's going on? Ma lil ardi hasala laha hadha alladhi hasal. What happened to the earth that it caused all of us to come back like this? And we're all back out of the ground. And then at this time, something else is going to happen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Yawma idin. Yawm al-qiyamah, on this day when this takes place, tuhaddithu akhbaraha. On this day, when the people are brought forth out of the ground, and everyone's gathered together, tuhaddithu ardu bima kana alayha, wa ma fa'alahu an-nasu fawqaha min khayrin aw sharrin. At this point in time, it will become apparent that the earth is going to hadith. The earth is going to speak. The ground is going to speak about what people did on it. What did the people do that was above the ground? What did they do during their lives? Min khayrin aw sharrin. What did they do from good? And what did they do from evil? What did they do from good? And what did they do from evil? وهذا فيه أن الأرض تشهد بما حصل عليها من أخبار أو أحوال وأقوال وأعمال قام بها الناس وهي شهادة منها عليهم بأمر الله تبارك وتعالى. And at this point in time when this happens, the earth is going to bear witness against every last one of us. So think about it. You know, you're in your closet, in your room, you're doing whatever you do. Nobody sees you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees you. And the earth is going to be a witness against you. The ground will be a witness against you. Tashhadu bima hasala alayha. So the earth is going to bear witness. Ma hasala alayha min akhbar. What happened from the news? What really happened? Wa ahwal, and the conditions of the people. Wa aqwal, and what was said. What did these people actually say? Wa'amal, and what was actually done? Qama biha nas, what did the people do? What did they do? The earth will be a witness against every last one of us. And there's no escaping it. In this city, people commit crimes, and they can shut the witness up. Right or wrong? Somebody talking, you do something you're not supposed to do, you can find a way to make sure the witness don't say nothing. Threaten his family, threaten her family, put them in a bad situation, so they're not going to talk. So you get away with a crime. Right or wrong? Right. But on this day, you're not shutting that witness up. On this day, no matter how many guns you got, how much respect you got on the street, you're not shutting that person up. You're not shutting the earth up. When that time comes, when the earth will be shahud, a witness. Do we have any witness? The earth is going, yes, this person, he did X, Y, Z. There's nothing you can do about that. Nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ أَوْحَى لَهَا. So now the question is, why is the earth doing this? Why is the earth speaking out against everyone on it and what everyone did? Why is the earth exposing everybody? All the actions that took place, why? أَمْرَهَا وَأَذِنَ لَهَا بِهَذِهِ الشَّهَادَةِ. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the earth to do so. And the earth is from Allah's creation. Allah commanded His creation to do so, and the earth didn't have a decision. The earth wasn't given an option to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَذِنَ لَهَا بِهَذِهِ الشَّهَادَةِ. As was reported in a hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, you can find this. Actually, I got this from Ibn Kathir in his tafsir. He says, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أتدرون ما أخبارها? And the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, do you know what the news, the akhbar, do you know what the news is, what they're talking about here in this verse? So the companions, قالوا الله ورسوله أعلم. And this is here from good akhlaq, or good mannerisms with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They said Allah and His Messenger knows best. We don't know. Allah and His Messenger knows best. قال فإن أخبارها أن تشهد على كل عبد وأمة بما عمل على ظهرها وأن تقول عمل كذا وكذا يوم كذا وكذا وهذه أخبارها. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, for indeed the akhbar, the information that needs to be known here, and tashhada ala kulli abdin, that the earth will bear witness against every individual, male and female. Bima amila ala dhahriha, is going to bear witness against every single man and woman what they did on top of the earth. To the point where, this is the Prophet ﷺ saying this, to the point, and to hold such and such did this on this day and this time at this place. Fulan did this, and this. This here is the akhbar. This is the news that will be made available that you will see. The earth will complain about us and be a witness against every last one of us. بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ أَوْحَى لَهَا, يعني بِأَنَّ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the earth to do this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the earth to do this. ثُمَّ مِنْ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ يَكُونُ حَالُ النَّاسِ الصُّدُورُ مِنَ الْأَرْضِ مَوْقِفٍ لِمُلَاقَاةِ الْجَزَاءِ وَالْحِسَابِ كُلُّ بِحَسَبِ عَمَلِهِ. And based on this, once everyone is called to account and made aware of what they did, then they're going to be judged accordingly. Some people will be rewarded, some people will be punished, based on what they did on top of the earth. Yawma idin. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Yawma idin. He says this again in this verse. Yawm al-qiyamah. Again, they're talking about the day of judgment once again. Allah Jalla wa Ala says, Yasturun nasu ashtata. What does that mean? Yasturun nasa ashtata. Yasturun nasu ashtata. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they're going to return yarja'una anwa'an wa asnafan ajnasan kullu bihasab amalihi min khairin aw sharrin. And you'll find, a sheikh he mentions here, they're going to be put in different groups. They're going to be put in different groups, different kinds. The good with the good, the bad with the bad. And as in some of the other tafsir, they're going to say all the sinners, they're going to be in one group. The obedient people are going to be in another group. These people are going to be in another group. Everyone's going to be put in the groups, and they're going to be different categories on where they're going to be. They're going to be grouped together. And when this happens, what's going to happen once they're put in the groups? It says, لِيُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُم. They're going to be put in different groups. And then it's going to say after that, يُعَيَّنُوا وَيُشَاهِدُوا وَيُقِفُوا عَلَى مَا قَدَّمُوهُ. And they're going to be made to see that which they have done. They're going to be made to see that which they have done. They're going to be shown their deeds and what they've done throughout the earth. They're going to be shown their deeds and what they've done throughout the earth. سواء أو سواء كانت الأعمال خيرا أو شرا محصاة عليهم. Regardless of whether their actions or what they've done was good or bad, they're going to be judged according to what they've done. They're going to be judged according to what they've done. So the scholars of Islam, they also mentioned that بِمَثَاقِيلَ الذَّرِّ يُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُمْ كُلَّهَا لَا يَنْقُصُ مِنْ عَمَلِهِمْ شَيْءٌ. And they're going to be shown what they've done, even if it was the size of an ant or an atom. An atom, ikhwan wa akhwat, shay la yus'as. It's something that you can't even describe if you wanted to, because it's so small. You can't even see it. Imagine our deeds, the good and the bad. Both are going to be judged and weighed like the amount of an atom or an ant. Something la yusuf aslan. Who can sit here and say, describe an ant or something smaller than that? It's difficult. That small amount, that small itty bitty thing that we can't even describe, we're going to be held accountable for that, whether good or bad. ولا من خير العمل ولا من شره لا من قليله ولا من كثيره ثم ينال الثواب على العمل الصالح وَالْعِقَابَ لَعَمَلِ السَّيِّئِ. And based on that action that we do, whether it's good or bad, we're going to be rewarded for it. If we're good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us some ajr, a reward for it. And if we're bad, you're going to be punished. We're going to be punished for it. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever does a mithqal, whoever does the amount of this mustard seed or atom or ant, khayran yara. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever does a small amount of good, a small amount of good. Perhaps, think of a small amount of good somebody could do that you won't even notice. You won't even think that is good. Can anyone think of anything? Saying that, that's small. It's big.
Removing something from the wall.
Removing something from the way. You might not think about it. Something small. Maybe you going in the store and you say, you know what, somebody walking by and just happen to leave the door open halfway so they can get in. You don't think nothing of it. So imagine some good that you do that's smaller than that. You're going to see. Huh? Help old lady? Maybe. That might be considered big though. Some people might not do that. You might intentionally say, I'm going to, you know. So imagine something evil you might do. That's small. You might not think it's evil. You might look at a brother funny one day like, right? You might cut your eye at somebody. You might do anything. You might, whatever. We do some evil things sometimes. We can do a lot of things that's evil, right? Have bad thoughts about the Muslims and, you know, when you don't have any right, you have no justifiable cause to have bad thoughts about the Muslims. Or you're doing other things. The fact of the matter is, no matter what you do, no matter what we do, from evil or from good, if it's a small amount of good, we're going to see it. And if it's even if it's a small amount of evil, you're going to see it. You're going to be made. All of us are going to be made to see it on this day. Think about that. And this reminds me of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he said, تَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said, worship Allah as if you see him. But you know you're not able to see Allah, but indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees you. So imagine that type of worship. This is from al-ihsan, from the highest level of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب. وهذا فيه تنبيه للعباد أن لا يحقروا من أعمال الخير شيئا. And this is also a reminder for the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we should not look at any form of good deed. This is something that's small. It's not a big deal. Because perhaps it could be a big deal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and something small to you. And therefore, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he brought a hadith. He said, "Ittaqu nara walau bishiqqi tamra." He said, fear Allah. Fear the fire. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, fear the fire. Even if you were to give a half of a date for sadaqah. This is how some of the scholars explain this hadith. Even if you're going to give a half of a date for sadaqah, fear the fire. Perhaps that can save you from the fire. Half a date you give someone. طيب. So then the Prophet, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ. Whoever does any amount of good, no matter what it is, big or small, they're going to see it. وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. And whoever does any amount of evil, عُقُوبَةً عَلَى أَعْمَالِهِ جَزَاءً وِفَاقًا. If a person is punished, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides to punish us for the evil that we do, we earned it. You worked hard for it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just. If we get a punishment, we earned that punishment. We worked hard for it and we earned it. This is what we earned. Our hands put forth. No one else made us do anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave every last one of us an intellect to decide to do right or decide to do wrong. So when that day comes, we don't have an excuse. None of us will have an excuse on Yawm al-Qiyamah. None of us. As it says here, عُقُوبَةً عَلَى أَعْمَالِهِ جَزَاءً وِفَاقًا. Some of us will be punished for our actions, and the punishment that we get will be equal to what we deserve. It will agree with what we deserve from what we did. وَهَذَا فِيهِ تَحْذِيرٌ. And that the Shaykh, Hafidhullah Ta'ala, he says, وَهَذَا فِيهِ تَحْذِيرٌ. And this is a warning. مِنَ الْإِسْتِهَانَ بِالْمُحَقَّرَاتِ الذُّنُوبِ. And this is a warning against minimizing or belittling sins. This is a warning against minimizing and belittling. Sometimes we commit sins, we act like it's not a big deal. People here, a lot of Muslims, we curse. In this city, Muslims have foul mouths, and it's normal. F this, F that. I was surprised. It's normal, right? When you get mad, one of the things about people here, when we get mad, everything goes out the window. Nah, I don't want to hear all this slam right now. You want to hear slam right now? Only when you happy. Right or wrong? Is this not the behavior here? Right? People get upset. I've seen it. When people get upset, everything goes out the window. Everything. No, not right now. I'll save that for later. Oh, okay. Well, guess what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold us accountable for that. Sometimes we minimize it. Brothers sit in the masjid outside in the street talking about, well, look, it's this over here. I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to do this.